Colonel James Thornton's polished dress shoes strike the Dallas airport terminal's tile with a cadence that cuts through the morning chaos, each step a testament to a soldier's unyielding resolve. At 53, his salt and pepper hair is cropped close, his army uniform adorned with ribbons and medals that whisper of deserts stormed and treaties forged. His deep brown eyes, etched with the weight of countless missions, carry a solemn purpose. Escorting the flag-draped casket of Private First Class Samuel Carter, a 21-year-old Texan whose laughter is now a memory, the terminal churns with rolling suitcases, crying toddlers, and business travelers glued to phones. But Thornton is a lighthouse in the storm, his focus unbreakable. The air smells of burnt coffee and sanitizer, the fluorescent lights casting stark shadows across his chiseled jaw. He adjusts his peaked cap, the gold eagle catching a glint, and strides to the airline counter, his military orders and ID in hand. The casket waits on the tarmac, guarded by ground crew, its stars and stripes a silent vow. Thornton's chest tightens, not from the weight of his medals, but from the promise etched into every soldier's soul. No one gets left behind. He's performed this duty before, standing vigil for fallen comrades, but today an unease prickles his spine, a premonition he can't shake. His calloused fingers, scarred from years of service, grip the papers as he steps forward, ready to complete this sacred mission. At the counter, a young agent in a navy blazer, her badge reading Megan, types with mechanical efficiency. Her blonde hair is pulled tight, her eyes barely lifting as she mutters, "ID and orders, please." Thornton slides them over, his movements precise, his gaze steady. Megan scans the documents, her brow creasing, then pauses, a hesitation that lingers like a warning. "Sir, can I see those again?" Her voice is tight, her fingers twitching. Thornton hands them back, his instincts sharpening. Megan's face betrays a flicker of unease, her glance darting to a coworker, a man in his 30s with a headset and a bored expression. She straightens as if bracing for impact. Megan turns, whispering to the coworker, who shoots Thornton a blank stare. The moment stretches, thick with a tension Thornton knows from battlefields, the prelude to resistance. When Megan returns, her smile is a brittle mask. "I'm sorry, sir, but there's an issue with your ticket. We can't allow you to board at this time." Thornton exhales, his breath a controlled release, his discipline holding anger at bay. Behind him the line stirs, suitcases clattering, voices murmuring. A man in a red polo nudges his wife. A teenager with earbuds pauses his music, frowning. "I'm escorting the remains of a fallen soldier," Thornton says, his voice low but unyielding, tapping the paperwork. "Everything is in order." Megan avoids his eyes, her fingers hovering over the keyboard. "I understand, sir, but there's a security protocol in place. We can't override it." The words are hollow, a script she clings to. Thornton's jaw tightens, but he keeps his tone even. "Security protocol? Explain it." Megan's smile falters, her gaze dropping. "It's just policy, sir." Policy. The word lands like a grenade. Thornton doesn't flinch, his 6'2" frame a wall of resolve. He's faced insurgents, negotiated with warlords, but this, a civilian counter in his own country, feels like betrayal. The line behind him quiets, eyes turning toward him. A woman in a denim jacket mutters, "This is wrong." Thornton squares his shoulders, his medals glinting. "Ma'am, I need to understand exactly what the issue is. This is a military assignment, not a vacation. My documentation is valid." Megan hesitates, her eyes darting to her co-worker, now joined by a supervisor, a man in his mid-50s with a strained smile, his name tag reading, Paul. Paul adjusts his glasses, stepping forward with a practiced tone. "Sir, I apologize for the inconvenience," he says, "but we have policies in place, and unfortunately, we can't override them." Thornton's voice sharpens, each word a blade. "I've escorted remains before. I know the procedure. There's no policy stopping me. So what's the real reason?" Paul clears his throat, shifting on his feet. "It's an extra security measure, sir. Nothing personal." "Nothing personal?" Thornton's mind flashes to Samuel Carter, a kid who enlisted to serve, whose family waits in Phoenix for closure. "This is personal. He tightens his grip on the counter, his voice a controlled storm. "You're testing my patience." The terminal's noise fades, the crowd's focus sharpening. The woman in the denim jacket steps closer, her husband nodding. The teenager pulls out his phone, thumbs poised. Thornton feels their eyes, not judgment, but witnesses to an injustice. He stands firm, his duty to Samuel a fire in his chest, refusing to let this mission falter. The airline's walls are cracking, and the truth is close, too close to hide. The Dallas airport terminal is a crucible, the fluorescent lights casting harsh shadows on Colonel James Thornton's unwavering form. His army uniform, a tapestry of sacrifice, draws every eye as he faces the airline counter, now a battleground. The supervisor, Paul, is absent, leaving Megan to weather the storm alone, her navy blazer wrinkled, her face pale. Thornton's military orders, untouched, are a silent indictment, but the airline's silence roars louder. The crowd forms a semicircle, their phones raised like torches, capturing the injustice unfolding in real time. A young woman, no older than 25, steps forward, her curly hair tied back, her phone glowing with a live stream. Her green eyes flicker with hesitation, then resolve, her freckled cheeks flushed with purpose. "I'm Emma," she says, her voice trembling but clear. "I'm live right now. People need to see this." She angles her phone at Thornton, then Megan, her feed buzzing with comments. Thornton meets her gaze, nodding slightly, a soldier recognizing an ally. Emma's voice steadies, her words sharp. "They're denying a U.S. Army colonel his flight while he's escorting a fallen soldier. This is wrong." The crowd erupts in murmurs. A mother in a denim jacket, clutching her purse, steps closer, her brown eyes fierce. "Why is he being treated like this?" she demands, her voice carrying. A college student in a hoodie still recording adds, "This is messed up. He's got orders." Thornton remains silent, his jaw tight, letting the crowd's outrage build. He thinks of Samuel Carter's family, waiting in Phoenix, their grief delayed by this farce. Megan's face drains of color, her eyes darting to the frosted door where Paul vanished. Her hands tremble, betraying her fear of the cameras now aimed at her. Emma's live stream explodes, hashtags like "Let Him Fly" trending within minutes. Comments flood in. "Disgraceful," "Honor our soldiers." Thornton feels the terminal shift, no longer a transit hub, but a stage for justice. He recalls missions where silence meant death, and here the crowd's voices are his weapon. "Ma'am," he says to Megan, his voice ablade, "I need an answer. Now." The mother in the denim jacket pulls out her phone, sharing Emma's video. A man in a suit, briefcase in hand, pauses, his call forgotten. Thornton's mind is on Samuel, a kid who deserved better. The spark of defiance ignites, a fire the airline can't contain. The Dallas airport terminal thrums with raw defiance. The crowd around Colonel James Thornton no longer mere spectators but warriors in a growing rebellion. His army uniform, medals glinting, stands out against the counter's sterile backdrop, his deep brown eyes fixed on the void where Paul, the supervisor, should be. Megan grips the counter, her knuckles white, as passenger phones capture every tense second, their lenses a silent jury. Thornton's military orders, untouched, are a beacon of truth, and the air crackles with anticipation, the scent of jet fuel seeping through the terminal's seams. Emma's live stream surges, her voice bold. "This colonel's being denied his flight for no reason. He's escorting a hero home." The crowd roars in agreement. Frank, the Marine veteran, steps closer, his USMC cap tilted back, his gray eyes blazing. "You're disrespecting every soldier who served," he growls, his calloused hands clenched. A man in a red polo shouts, "Explain it!" Thornton raises a hand, quieting the crowd, his authority a quiet storm. "I'm here to escort Private First Class Samuel Carter," he says, his voice resonating. "His family's waiting. Tell me why I can't board." Megan stammers, "It's policy, sir," but her words drown in jeers. Paul emerges, his face flushed, but before he speaks, a woman in her 40s waves her phone. "It's trending. They're calling it a disgrace." Hashtags flood social media. "Honor our heroes." "Airline shame." Thornton's mind flashes to Samuel's sacrifice, a kid who loved his mother's cooking, who died for freedom. He won't let bureaucracy tarnish that. "I need the truth," he says, his tone iron. Paul retreats, whispering to a colleague as the crowd's defiance swells. A teenager shares Emma's video, his thumbs flying. A businessman mutters, "This is unacceptable." Thornton stands firm, the line drawn, the world watching, the airline's facade crumbling under the weight of truth. The terminal is a pressure cooker, the crowd's anger wrapping the airline counter where Colonel James Thornton stands like a sentinel. His uniform gleams, his posture unyielding as phones record the drama. Paul is gone, replaced by Richard, a senior airline rep in a sleek navy suit, his ID badge glinting. Richard's smile is polished, his voice smooth as silk. "Colonel Thornton, we apologize for the miscommunication. We'd like to offer first-class accommodations to resolve this." His words drip with corporate charm, but Thornton's eyes narrow, seeing through the facade. "This isn't about first class," Thornton says, his voice low, resonant. "It's about respect. For me, for Private Carter, for every soldier." The crowd murmurs approval, their phones rolling. Frank, the Marine, crosses his arms, his gray eyes sharp. "Too late for apologies. Why'd you deny him?" Richard's smile tightens. "An error in our system, sir. We're correcting it." Thornton steps closer, his presence a force. "If no one recorded this, would I still be standing here?" The question hangs, Richard shifting uncomfortably, his tie suddenly too tight. Emma's livestream surges, her followers in the thousands. "They're trying to buy him off," she narrates, her green eyes fierce. The mother in the denim jacket refuses to board, declaring, "I'm not flying with them until this is right." Others join her, a protest forming. News outlets flash headlines. "Army Colonel denied flight while escorting fallen soldier." Thornton's mind is on Samuel's family, their grief delayed by this charade. He rejects Richard's offer, his voice firm. "Get me on that flight or explain why not." A businessman in the crowd nods, sharing Emma's video. The airline's gambit falters, the crowd's solidarity a wall they can't breach, the terminal a stage for justice. The Dallas airport terminal is a battlefield. The crowd's anger a palpable force around Colonel James Thornton. His uniform, a symbol of sacrifice, contrasts the airline's crumbling facade. Richard, the rep, sweats under the glare of phones, his promises ignored. Thornton's deep brown eyes remain fixed, his duty to Private Samuel Carter unshaken. The frosted glass door swings open, and Major Daniel Beckett strides in, his Army uniform crisp, his jaw set. At 45, Beckett's hazel eyes carry quiet authority, his presence shifting the room like a storm breaking. "Colonel Thornton," Beckett says, extending a hand, his grip iron, "the Pentagon's arranged a private military flight. Your transport's ready." The crowd gasps, then cheers, their phones capturing the moment. Thornton shakes Beckett's hand, his voice steady. "Understood, Major." Beckett turns to Richard, his tone clipped. "We're handling this now. Colonel Thornton and Private Carter's remains won't fly commercial." Richard's face pales, his words stumbling. "Sir, we were just—" Beckett cuts him off, his voice steel. "You were covering your tracks. This will be addressed." Emma's live stream captures the triumph, her voice shaking with awe. "The Army's stepping in." Frank the Marine grins, tipping his USMC cap, his gray eyes gleaming. Thornton thanks the crowd, his voice resonant. "You made this happen." He reflects on Samuel's sacrifice, the mission back on track. Social media erupts, veteran groups amplifying the outrage, trending hashtags now global. A woman in the crowd wipes tears, sharing Emma's video. The airline's control slips, their apologies drowned by cheers as Thornton and Beckett prepare to leave. The mission's honor restored, the terminal alive with defiance. Colonel James Thornton follows Major Daniel Beckett through a secure airport corridor, the terminal's chaos fading behind them. His uniform is pristine, but his heart carries the weight of Private Samuel Carter's casket, now being loaded onto a military transport. The corridor smells of jet fuel and metal, its dim lights a stark contrast to the terminal's glare. Beckett's stride is brisk, his hazel eyes scanning ahead. "Flight's ready, sir," he says, his voice steady. "We'll get Carter home." Thornton nods, his deep brown eyes distant, picturing Samuel's family in Phoenix, their grief a shadow he can't shake. Outside, the crowd gathers near a window, watching the military plane, its engines humming. Emma, still live streaming, narrates, They're honoring our hero. Her green eyes shine with pride. Frank, the Marine, salutes, his gray eyes misty, his USMC cap a symbol of shared sacrifice. Thornton pauses, turning to the crowd, and raises a hand in gratitude, his medals catching the light. The gesture sparks applause, phones capturing the moment. A teenager shares Emma's video, his thumbs flying. Back in the terminal, the airline issues a weak statement. We regret the error and are investigating. Social media scorns it. Hashtags like airline shame trending higher. Thornton boards the plane, the casket secured, its flag a solemn reminder. He reflects on the crowd's role, their voices forcing change. A memory surfaces. Samuel's file, mentioning his love for baseball, his dream to coach kids. Thornton's resolve hardens, the mission resuming, but the fight for respect lingers, a fire he carries as the plane's engines roar to life, the Dallas skyline fading below. As Colonel James Thornton's military flight soars from Dallas, the airport terminal remains a hotbed of outrage. The airline's counter is deserted, Megan and Paul replaced by a skeleton crew dodging complaints. Social media is ablaze. Emma's live stream now viewed by millions, her green eyes fierce on news segments replaying the incident. News networks interrupt broadcasts with headlines, U.S. Army Colonel denied flight in shocking incident. Analysts condemn the airline, citing systemic failures, their voices sharp over studio lights. Thornton, airborne, is unaware, his focus on Samuel's family, but the world is shouting for him. Veteran advocacy groups release statements demanding accountability. This is an insult to every soldier, one leader tweets, her post retweeted thousands of times. The airline's stock dips 3%, boycott calls gaining traction. In the terminal, the mother in the denim jacket shares Emma's video, her voice fierce. I'm done with this airline. A businessman in a suit joins her, posting, never flying them again. The student in a hoodie starts a petition, hitting 10,000 signatures in hours. Thornton's mission, now a symbol of duty, fuels a public roar, shaking the airline's walls. A memory of Samuel's laughter from a training photo lingers in Thornton's mind, urging him to honor the fallen as the crowd's voices echo in his victory. The Phoenix sun beats down on a quiet tarmac, where Colonel James Thornton stands beside Private Samuel Carter's flag-draped casket, its stars gleaming. His uniform is crisp, his deep brown eyes soft with empathy, as Samuel's family approaches. A mother, her gray hair streaked with grief, clutching a tissue. A younger brother, his high school letterman jacket loose, eyes red. Thornton salutes, his voice steady. On behalf of a grateful nation, I'm honored to bring Samuel home. The mother sobs, touching the casket, her fingers trembling. Thornton steps back, offering a hand, his presence a quiet anchor. The ceremony is solemn, soldiers forming an honor guard, their boots echoing. A chaplain's prayer lifts, mingling with the desert breeze. Thornton's mind drifts to Samuel's file, a kid who loved baseball, who enlisted to make his mother proud. Back in Dallas, the airline's crisis deepens. Politicians tweet support, one senator vowing, "This won't happen again." Social media campaigns swell, hashtags trending globally. A news anchor shares, "This is about respect." Thornton, detached, feels the mission's closure, but knows the fight continues. He shakes the family's hands, their gratitude raw, their stories of Samuel's kindness grounding him in purpose. The tarmac's heat lingers, a reminder of why he stood firm. The airline's Dallas headquarters is a war room, executives scrambling as their stock plummets 7%. The CEO, a gray-haired man in a tailored suit, eyes shadowed, delivers a televised apology. This was a misunderstanding. The public scorns it, memes flooding social media. Colonel James Thornton, back in his Virginia office, prepares for a briefing, his uniform pressed, his deep brown eyes distant. His phone buzzes with messages of support, but he sets it aside, focusing on duty. A photo of Samuel Carter sits on his desk, a reminder of the mission's cost. A coalition of veterans files a lawsuit, alleging discrimination. The protests erupt outside airline offices, veterans holding signs, "Respect our heroes." The students' petition hits 100,000 signatures, shaking lawmakers. The airline suspends Meghan and Paul, but it's too late. Airline's reputation crumbles. Thornton recalls the terminal, the crowd's applause, his resolve unshaken. A news segment replays Emma's live stream, her voice fierce. The airline's fall is a warning, but Thornton's mission endures, his stand a quiet force for change, as he prepares for the next duty, the fight for respect ever present. Colonel James Thornton's stand reverberates, inspiring reform. Advocacy groups push for laws protecting military escorts, their proposals gaining support. In the Dallas airport, now subdued, Emma appears on a news segment, her green eyes bright. "We made a difference," she says, her live stream a catalyst. The mother in the denim jacket starts a veteran support group inspired by Thornton. Frank the Marine speaks at a rally, his gray eyes fierce, his USMC cap a symbol. A teenager shares Emma's video, his thumbs flying, spreading the call. The airline lays off staff, its reputation shattered. Social media amplifies stories of military disrespect, fueling change. Thornton in Virginia receives a letter from Samuel's mother thanking him. He tucks it away, his deep brown eyes softening. His stand has sparked a movement, voices rising for respect. A news anchor praises the crowd's role. Their phone's a modern battlefield. Thornton's legacy grows, a quiet force urging others to honor sacrifice as he prepares for his next mission, the fight far from over. In a Washington, D.C. hearing room, airline executives face congressional fire, their apologies faltering. "How did this happen?" a senator demands, invoking Colonel James Thornton's name. Veterans testify, sharing stories of disrespect, their voices amplifying Thornton's stand. The airline's CEO sweating promises reforms, but lawmakers vow legislation. Social media fuels the pressure, influencers joining the boycott. A businessman shares Emma's video, his call resonating. The airline's losses mount, layoffs spreading. Thornton in Virginia reads about the hearings, his deep brown eyes thoughtful. He didn't seek this reckoning, but he's proud of Emma, Frank, in the crowd. A memory of Samuel's smile from a training photo lingers. A news segment replays Frank's speech, his voice fierce. Thornton reflects on the terminal, knowing this ensures no soldier is dishonored again. The nation watches. Thornton's stand a catalyst for change, the fight for respect a shared battle. Colonel James Thornton stands at a Phoenix memorial for Private Samuel Carter, his uniform sharp, his deep brown eyes on the flag at half-mast. Veterans and families fill the cemetery, their silence a tribute. Thornton speaks, his voice steady. "Samuel's sacrifice reminds us to honor all who serve." The crowd nods, some weeping. A teenager shares a photo of the ceremony, spreading the call. Thornton steps back, his duty complete, but his heart carries change's weight. Communities rally, inspired by Thornton's story. Rallies demand respect. Schools teach Samuel's legacy. The airline nears bankruptcy, a cautionary tale. Thornton receives messages from strangers, thanking him. A news anchor praises Emma's live stream, her green eyes fierce. Thornton reflects on the terminal, the crowd's voices, and knows respect is earned daily. His call to honor echoes, a challenge to all, as he salutes the flag, the fight for justice enduring. Colonel James Thornton sits in his Virginia office, his uniform pressed, his deep brown eyes tracing a photo of Samuel Carter's family. A new law signed yesterday protects military escorts, Thornton's legacy. The airline, nearly bankrupt, is a shadow, its executives gone, replaced by reformers. Thornton's phone buzzes with news, rallies honoring veterans. Emma and Frank now local heroes. He visits the Dallas airport, now with veteran policies, the counter a quiet landmark. A businessman shares a story, Emma's voice replayed, call to action resonating. Passengers and veterans share stories of honor, inspired by Thornton. His legacy ripples, urging all to honor sacrifice. Thornton steps outside, the flag waving, a symbol of his fight. The story ends with a call. Stand for justice, honor, sacrifice, and let no voice be silenced. Thornton's resolve endures, a quiet promise that respect is forged through struggle, the terminal's lessons etched into the future.